Welcome, everyone. I'm Sarika, your host. So today, we are here gathered in this forum to create a better India. We don't need to be told that the problems in India are big. What we need are big ideas to make a big difference. And that's what we are here to do today. The first annual Big Ideas for a Better India. At this time, India can actually change our world. Now, you may ask, how? Right now, India has the largest youth population. 65% of Indians are between the ages of 18 and 35. So imagine, exactly, hundreds and millions of youth coming together to make a big difference. So how are we going to make their voices heard? Well, BORN is the Overseas Volunteer for a Better India. OVBI was just started a few months ago, May 2013, by a couple of youth that had passion and a vision. Today, we have over 10,000 members in 50 universities across 25 cities. Now, isn't that impressive? I would say so. And this event alone has got coverage in over 50 newspapers in India. So we definitely are creating a huge movement and change. And I welcome you all to be a part of that change. So this morning, we're going to hear from fabulous great minds, such as Naveen Jain, an entrepreneur and the founder of iKnown and Moon Express. Rajiv Malhotra, a philanthropist and the founder of the Infinity Foundation. And a very, very special keynote from the founder of The Art of Living, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar. So let's start off by inviting a senior executive at a high-tech company, and he has the passion to make India a better place. He is a board member for OVBI and is going to tell us all about the fabulous work they are doing. Let's give him a warm welcome.
Thank you. Thanks, Sarika. First of all, on behalf of the Board of Directors of the Overseas Volunteers for Better India, I would like to welcome all of you. Thank you for being here. This event brings together the big thinkers from all across the United States to brainstorm some big ideas to create a better India. I am absolutely thrilled to be here, and I'm looking forward to the discussion and the brainstorming that happens in the next couple of hours here. I hope the discussion is going to be thought-provoking and inspiring for all of you, and I'm looking forward to do that with you. My job here is to talk about OVBI. I'm going to be brief, just share with you what OVBI's vision is, what we stand for, and how you can help with OVBI. But before I do that, I want to start with a story. Can you go to the next slide, please? Kumudvati River Project. So Kumudvati River is a river near the city of Bangalore. When I talk to my friends in Bangalore about the river, very few have actually heard about that river. They don't know that there is a river called Kumudvati River. And there's a very good reason for that. It's not a river anymore. It's a dry passage where there once was a river. What is also true is that Bangalore, not dissimilar from other cities in India, has a water crisis problem. The water level is not enough to supply the rapid urbanization that Bangalore is seeing. What is also true is that water level in the ground is going down significantly. Even after you dig 1,500 feet, 2,000 feet, you rarely hit water in Bangalore anymore. So what people are doing? They're supplementing, those who can, those who have the means, they're supplementing with private water supply. And those who don't have the means, they are going thirsty. A few volunteers, let's get the next slide. A few volunteers from the Volunteer for Better India organization movement looked at this problem, and they said we should do something about it. It's not very hard to solve this problem. They tried to first understand why does this problem exist in the first place? And they figured that there is a natural system of springs, lakes, and water bodies that feeds and sustains any river. And same was the case with Kumudwati River. But what had happened was rapid urbanization had destroyed that natural system which was feeding that river. And as a result, the river was dry. So a group of volunteers decided that we should do something about it. Very little planning, more doing. Let's roll up our sleeves and let's fix the problem. So they got to work, and you see some pictures of them doing the work on a large scale. The pictures may not be as clear, but you can hopefully see of volunteers, people like you and I, just rolling up their sleeves, taking time from their jobs, and getting together to do something good. They revived the river. You know, the pictures on the bottom left that you see, there is already water flowing in that river, and it's going to feed the dams that eventually feeds Bangalore. So it's already making a difference to the water shortage problem in Bangalore. And it's going to even become better as the natural system is fully restored. This is just one example of what can happen when a small group of volunteers with a spirit of patriotic service come together and want to do something good for the society and for the country. VBI volunteers, the Volunteer for Better India volunteers, have done thousands of projects like this already. VBI was launched in early this year, and just in a short time frame, so much has been done. Thousands of projects have been done, millions of lives have been impacted. This is what can happen. Magic happens when people come together and think about what they can do. The genius behind VBI, let's go to the next slide. So the genius behind VBI really is that it's a grassroots movement. It's not a movement where a group of 100 leaders or 50 leaders are standing somewhere on the top and directing a bunch of people on what they should be doing. Every community has a different problem. So it's a grassroots movement where people in the community themselves decide what are the problems that their community needs solutions for. What VBI, Volunteer for Better India, provides them is a structure and a platform where people can come together and do something good for the society. The call for action for VBI is give 1 hour to the nation every day. Just like how our freedom movement was. It wasn't 50 leaders fighting against the mighty British Empire, right? It was every Indian was a freedom fighter. In the same way, every Indian is a volunteer for VBI. When they come together, magic will happen, and it's already happening. Let's go to the next slide, please. So a little bit about the structure. This event is organized by OVBI, which is the overseas arm for VBI, Volunteer for Better India. So Volunteer for Better India is a grassroots organization. It's people on the ground in India working on projects as we talk. So they're rolling up their sleeves and doing the work. What Overseas Volunteer for Better India is the overseas arm which has 4 objectives. The first primary objective is to support the VBI activities in India. So we have a structure in place in the US. We launched, as Sarika said, May of this year. So we are a relatively young organization, but we have a structure in place through which we want to systematically support the VBI activities in India. That's objective number 1. The objective number 2 is to do advocacy for India and Indians worldwide. So all of us here, overseas Indians, and Indians all across the world, have specific issues which relate to us. And OVBI wants to provide a platform to all of you to be able to advocate for issues that are specific to you. The third objective for OVBI is supporting institutional reform and systematic change in India. As I look across this room, I had an opportunity to meet some of you in breakfast before. There is so much talent here. There's talent in the field of healthcare, there's talent in the field of technology, there's a talent in the field of aerospace and all kinds of sciences. India needs that talent. And I know a lot of people here in the room and outside this room, from the bottom of your heart, you want to be able to provide your expertise to India. And OVBI wants to be able to provide that channel for you so you can bring your expertise for institutional reform in India. And the fourth objective for OVBI is building a strong Indian community in the United States. This room, this event here, is one example of that. All of us have pride in our cultural roots. All of us have pride in our Indianness. We want to support that. We want to encourage that and do events throughout the country where we can enjoy, celebrate, and feel proud of our Indianness. So VBI is on-the-ground India organization, and OVBI is Overseas Volunteer for Better India, which supports the VBI organization. Overseas Volunteer for Better India, like Sarika said, already has chapters in over 20 cities. And we are just getting started. So, and if you look at VBI, VBI has just grown like wildfire. We are present. It's very hard to even estimate, because it's grassroots, how many volunteers are actually working for VBI. But there's an estimated 500,000 volunteers, 5 lakh volunteers working on the ground as we talk on VBI projects. 40,000 villages, already presence in 40,000 villages. And like I said, thousands of projects have been done, millions of lives have been impacted. As we were doing these projects, we started asking ourselves one question. Go to the next slide, please. The problems we are solving as VBI and as OVBI are not very complex. When a group of people get together, put their hands and hearts into solving a problem, it gets solved very easily. So why is it that these problems exist in the first place? Why was Kumudwati River dry? Or why is there drought in Maharashtra? Or when floods came in Uttarakhand, why weren't we able to respond with full rigor? Or why is it that there is no electricity in many villages in India? What is going on? There's one answer. Because people who are supposed to solve these problems are not doing their job. The government of India. They are either incompetent or corrupt. And we are responsible for that because we are electing those people. So we realized as VBI that to create a massive, large scale in this change in the society, we need to think about how we are governed, and we need to take back the control and start managing how we are governed. And that gave birth to the Vote for Better India project. Can you go to the next slide, please? So right now, the VBI machinery and the OVBI machinery is focused for the time being on Vote for Better India project, because we have this time window until the next general election to create a massive change in how elections are held in India. There are about 750 million eligible voters in India. Out of them, 10 crore are not registered to vote. And there is an estimated another 100 million voters who are bogus registrations. So they're not real individuals, they're bogus registrations that political parties do to take advantage of the system. So VBI has a goal of registering 30 million voters. This is phase 1, voter registration drives, and remove 30 million bogus votes. The second phase of this project is voter awareness campaigns. Very simple-minded people in India, they don't fully understand how political system works. What are the parameters on which they should be picking their candidate? How should they be thinking about giving their vote? Which are the candidates who have criminal background? So second phase of this project is voter awareness campaigns. And the third phase of this project is going to be get out and vote campaigns. So we'll get out on the streets, the volunteer structure is already there, and they'll bring people to get out and vote. So those are the big focus areas for Vote for Better India project. And the whole machinery is right now focused on this because this is such an important time window for us to create an impact. Next slide, please. So I hope you're looking at this, sitting there, and really thinking, so what can I do about it? And here are 3 ways you can help. First is donate. You know, VBI and OVBI has a strong structure. We have a group of volunteers on the ground working, and we have big projects and a big vision. How OVBI can help is providing resources for those projects. You can go to overseasvbi.org and vote. We also have pledge cards for you on your seats, and volunteers can provide you additional pledge cards. That donation will really help in sustaining the projects and growing them. The second way is becoming a member. If you go to overseasvbi.org, you can become a member of the organization as a way to support the organization. And third is, I know you're already here, so you feel something about giving back to the country, not just becoming a member, but becoming an ambassador. Talking about this to other people, making other people members, bringing it out to the community, because all of you are here, you have such a strong network. We can create a grassroots movement in United States, and we can create a wave in United States as well, and together create the India of our dreams. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Rajneesh. Thank you, Rajneesh. And like Rajneesh said, we are all ambassadors for change. So at this time, I'd like to bring on stage our honored guests, Naveen Jain, Rajiv Malhotra, and of course, Shri Shri Ravi Shankar for our lighting ceremony. Can someone please escort our guests? Thank you. Which can get rid of corruption. So next we have a visionary who is creating game-changing technology to make India a better place. Let's welcome Satej Chaudhary.
Morning, everybody. No, last year I was visiting my family back home in India, and my brother was looking to get registered for voting. So I saw him futz around with this paper form. He filled it out, went, stood in line for 2 hours, submitted his form. It got rejected. Right? So apparently he didn't know what constituency he was living in. So he came back again, he had to fill it out again, went back, again it got rejected. This time he forgot to tick out a particular box in there. It happened for the third time, and he just gave up. Today he still does not have a voter ID card. And I was just thinking, in the US it takes no more than 2 minutes to get registered for voting. Why does it have to be so painful in India, right? When the Overseas Volunteers for a Better India started thinking about doing voter registration in India, the goal was to get 30 million voters registered. And the first thought that came to my mind was, this is going to be 30 million very, very frustrated people who are going to be spending 300 million hours of wasted time going around and doing nothing, right? And that really got me inspired that I need to do something about this. In the US, just putting a simple website with simple validations can make such a huge impact. Why not in India? So at Code for India, the Code for India had a hackathon at the Stanford University. And what Code for India was doing was, they said, let's get together some of the brightest Indian engineers together and see how we can use technology to make a huge impact back in India. And that's where, next slide, that's where we pitched our idea that let's do something to streamline the voter registration process. The interest was so huge, we got a bunch of 20 techies, hardcore engineers from Google, Stanford, Oracle, Microsoft, and several of the Silicon Valley companies. We huddled up. In 3 weeks flat, we knocked out our first prototype. Version 1 was released a couple weeks back. And the impact of this was so huge. When we rolled it out to our team back in India, it really just caught fire. Now it's being used to power Votathon, which is going to be powering this intercollegiate voter registration competition that has 10,000 competing colleges, and their goal is to reach 30 million voters in less than 2 months. So that's how powerful it was. And yeah, so these are some screenshots from the app that we created. So we started with the first one, and then the second and the third are additional partners who came on board to take this to the next level. So the second thing, what it does is each time there is a voter drive going on, people take pictures, post it out there, and as more and more volunteers see this, it gets more exciting. People get more excited, and it kind of grows. The third thing is a lot of people on the ground had a lot of cool ideas of how to improve this process. And because it was getting lost in emails all across the place, we couldn't really do anything. But with this third technology, Idea Poke, we are able to collate all that information in a coherent structure and speed up the process of improving voter registration. So next slide. So yeah, so that was our impact. Next. So when we showed this technology to the Chief Election Commission of India, he was here in Washington, D.C. just last week. And he was so excited, and he's posed us another challenge. So what he told us was, the next challenge for you guys is to create a super secure online voter registration process for NRIs, so that all NRIs can participate in the voter registration process. Right? How cool is that? And inspired by these things, we've taken on even more bigger challenges. The second thing is, we've been hearing a lot about safety issues, about women in India, right? What do we do? There's another team at Stanford that's working on this idea, where what they're doing is, every or any lady could just have a little bracelet with a little button on it. If there's a distress situation, all she has to do is just push a button. It sends out a distress signal through her cell phone to a bunch of volunteers, local volunteers, who can rapidly respond to help her out, rather than having to wait for the police to come on and so forth. So that is the second one. And then holding politicians accountable. We were just at this hackathon. There's this gentleman from World Bank had come. So in World Bank, what it does is it gives millions of dollars of grant to India to build infrastructure projects. And there are situations where they don't really get a whole lot of good feedback. In the sense, the politicians just say that, they just give them a picture of some other road and say, this is where your money was used. Or they say, there was a bridge that was built, but there was a flood and the bridge is gone now. Right? So how do you tackle this? So we said, why not create an app which you distribute out to the volunteers on the ground and just tell them that this is, this state has been allocated so much money to do these things. And all you need to do is just take on a regular basis, just take snaps of what is going on the ground and send it to the servers. And all that will happen is this information get automatically transferred to World Bank servers. They'll be able to see what the progress is going on. That's the way to crowdsource and really hold our politicians accountable. So that's the third technology that we're working on. So the point that I wanted to make here is, we don't really need to spend $1 million, or we don't need to donate $1 million to make a multi-million-dollar impact. All it really takes is a bunch of, really fired up individuals who are just willing to put in their time, their energy, and, have the vision to make it happen. And I think that's how we're going to make India a better place. So, there's just one final thing I have, next one. We're launching this idea platform called Idea Poke. We're kind of collaborating with one very ingenious Silicon Valley startup. And since this forum is, big ideas for a better India, it's not just about, getting ideas from, obviously it's best to have ideas from Sri Ravi Shankar ji, Naveen Jain ji, and Rajiv Malhotra ji. But I think every single one of us has big ideas. And we really invite you to submit your ideas, and we can set a collaboration platform and see how we can make it happen. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Satish. That was great, and I love the work that you guys are doing in Silicon Valley. I had a chance to go visit them, and the Google team is just so passionate. So we invite you all to be a part of that mission as well. So next, we have some very special guests here in our audience. We'd like to invite them up to have a few words. And Upendra Shivkula, he's an American Democratic Party politician who has served in the New Jersey General Assembly since 2002, where he represents the 17th Legislative District. Let's welcome him.
Jai Gurudev. It is indeed a pleasure to be invited by overseas volunteers for Better India. India is a very complex society, as you have heard earlier Rajiv Malhotra ji speak. It is challenging. Having been in New Jersey politics for the last 15 years, elected office holder, one of the things I noticed, it has to be organic. The betterment of India is not going to come from outside. You need to train the people, you need to educate them. One flaw I notice in India is that if, like United States, where no matter which religion you belong to, you only have one law. In India, that is not true. We have to change that. Because when you have one law, it works for all of them. The second thing we need to look at about India is that prejudice. You know, India is a cosmopolitan, secular nation. When you have so many different people from different religions and different cultures make India their home, you want to make sure that they all work together, well together. As I say, you know, it should be a teamwork. And in a team, in a team makes it illness, leads to illness, whereas we in a team leads to wellness. So we want to make sure we have a teamwork like that. And I think education is the greatest equalizer. If we can really educate, as Mahatma Gandhi ji said, that the real India is in the villages, in the rural areas. As Guruji knows that trying to transform villages, whether it's in Andhra Pradesh, where in Nalgonda district, where it's a fluorosis problem, trying to solve the problems, a water problem, the responsibility of the government to make sure that they provide the basic needs according to Maslow's hierarchy. What is it? Food and shelter and clothing and things like that. We need to make sure that. But we cannot provide, there are more than 1 billion people in India. We have to train them, educate them, so that way they can provide them for themselves. I think that's what we need to focus in on. And I think what you're doing here is great, and you can take some of the ideas from the United States, like voter registrations, elections, and Rajiv Malhotra ji talked about the president's system. I think the key thing that works here is the separation of powers. Even though I'm an elected state legislator, I have no funds allocated to me, so that I cannot abuse that funds. So you need to separate that. We need to figure out how we can incorporate that in a parliamentary system. So it is just a beginning. I want to congratulate this organization for taking on a Herculean task. It is transforming India, you know, with the corruptive practices. We need to make sure our police officers, they make the lowest amount of money, and we expect them to be honest. It is not possible. So we need to start respecting those positions by paying them well. There are many things that we can do, but thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you so much. Another special guest we have, he's a leading entrepreneur, and he's created history in Maryland by becoming the first Indian American to be appointed to the sub-cabinet level position in the state administration. Let's welcome Dr. Rajan Natarajan.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam, for your warm introduction. Good evening, everyone. His Holiness Guruji, Sri Ravi Shankar, distinguished speakers, our consulate, Shivaratan from Indian Embassy, dear friends, fellow students, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor and a privilege to join you all at this important inauguration of Big Ideas for a Better India. It's an amazing initiative. Particularly, I want to welcome you all on behalf of the state of Maryland, to the great state of Maryland. Now, let us give a big round of applause for the organizers. I hope Suresh is not here. and the great executive team who launched this important initiative. It's very vital for India to make better India. So first of all, I want to congratulate you all. I was asked to briefly speak about my big ideas for better India. I want to thank Madam Gayatri, TV Asia, for her kind invitation. Well, I know that this group is mainly focusing on launching powerful grassroots-based organization, like this overseas business volunteer for better India. It's one of the biggest idea that launched today. So this itself is a great idea to make a very better India and a very better place for all Indian Americans. So and also the Swamiji is here is a clear indication of the success of this great organization. Let us give a big round of applause Swamiji for his. Yeah. Today, due to the hard work of more than 23 million NRIs, non-resident Indian Americans, all over across the world, in the business, education, science and technology, culture, social, political, and government, paying back to our community. And now overseas Indian American community emerged as one of the best and peace-loving communities in the world. Thank you all for your hard work. As we are fully aware that India and the United States share a common values and commitment for freedom, democracy, and liberty, the bonds between our two nations, great nations, are strong, and these ties are enriched by thousands of non-resident Indians like you every day. So we are really blessed to have these great nations, India and the United States. As we understand that America is the land of opportunities. I know Mr. Navin was talking about the talents, definitely. India is the land of talents. So by working together, both nations produce remarkable prospects, peace, and progress than by any other countries in the nation, and build a vibrant 21st century economy and partnership. India is expected to have the third largest economy in the world in coming decade, and one of the most progressive and prosperous nation in the world. I understand that overseas volunteer for a better India, mainly focusing on the voter registration, education, and voter turnout that will make significant impact on the future of India. It is an amazing vision and a necessary action plan. Let me share some of the great opportunities that India has now to become a better India. For example, India is a knowledge hub because of its best higher education system in the world. But to become a superior global leader in education and innovation, India must concentrate and focus on providing quality education and its practical application of knowledge gained through higher education. I believe R&D based education must be given utmost priority. Another great opportunity India has is that India right now producing about 6.5% of GDP for the last 10 years based on only 60% of energy supply. If we have a full supply of energy 24/7, we can easily double the GDP, and also we can make the double-digit GDP in the world. It's only India has this kind of opportunity because of the talent we have. Another idea is that India should make healthy investment and the best business climate for investors through public-private partnership on many government-based infrastructure projects so that they can be globally competitive. As we are aware that India can play a major role globally in making affordable health care, there has a huge opportunity for India to expand and improve our healthcare systems to promote the global medical tourism in India. It's a huge opportunity for India to play a role. Most importantly, India needs more stable, proactive, business-friendly government that must become one India by solving small regional issues and gaining cooperation from many regional political systems. I am very confident that this overseas volunteer for better India will serve as a central representation of the dynamic people-to-people that are helping to drive the India global partnership to reach the full promises of our potential. Thank you very much for this opportunity. God bless you all.
So I'd like to welcome Ritvik, Vashi, and Amit Bhatt. They're OVBI leaders, and they're pioneering change for overseas volunteer for a better India. So please give them their due respect. They have worked very, very hard. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I see the backstagers already gone. The show is not over yet. We are still here. It's such an inspiring afternoon for all of us. Such great thought leaders, such great ideas being shared. And I'm sure you all are going to join in this journey. I want to step back a little bit and just talk about OVBI. When OVBI was formed, we thought about what should be the definition of OVBI? Overseas Volunteer for Better India stands for what? Stands for concerned citizen. See this emphasis on concerned. Why should we be concerned? India is a democratic country, but we are concerned about the corruption. Are we not?
Yes.
Yes. And second thing, and the most important thing, I think we should be concerned, and every Indian should be concerned about, is the apathetic attitude of us Indians. We need to do something about that. And I think throughout this program that has been emphasized over and over again, but we need to make sure that point comes across to each one of us clearly, and our friends, our Indian friends. The journey has just started. So where's the slide deck that I had to talk about now? Okay, so VBI has done a great job on the ground, and we are supporting them from overseas. So Volunteers for a Better India, they launched I Vote for a Better India campaign, a pan-Indian campaign, first time ever it has happened in the history. So give an applause for that. What has been achieved is that the volunteers on the ground have reached out to 155 constituencies. And they will keep on working hard and reach more and more constituencies. Don't worry about the number, it will grow. As all of your resolve will grow. We have reached out to 1,000 universities. So the youth of India are coming together on this platform called the VBI and getting together to make India a better place. We have reached out to 500 corporations like Oracle and Microsoft, name it. The people from those organizations are part of this movement. We have around 500,000 volunteers, a pool of volunteers on the ground, and every day the number is increasing. And all of them are concerned citizens. Next slide. So what we are doing and what we have achieved so far, we are doing a multi-pronged attack, or we are working on that for the 2014 elections in India. We are doing voter awareness drives, voter registration drives, and increasing the voter turnout in India. So first number is we have completed 300,000. I think the number is still short, and we have done more than that, 300,000 voter registration so far. We have educated 300,000 voters, and 500,000 voter turnout has been increased. Our goal is to increase voter turnout by 20%. Just to give you a couple more pieces of information, VBI has signed up a memorandum of understanding with election commission officers from different states, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Delhi. So they are working with the election commission hand in hand and making it the 2014 elections a big success, that everyone goes and votes. It is the birthright of a democratic country of every citizen. And I would like to add that at the end, all of us need to come back together, educate everyone in US and outside US, in other countries, and back in India, that please go and vote. Thank you very much. I'll turn it over to Vikashi right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amit. I know it's been a long afternoon for you all. I'll just take a few minutes. I want to call upon an action, call upon action for the day. We all listen to all the great visionaries over here. I'm really, really inspired, while listening to Rajiv Malhotra ji, Naveen Jain, and of course, Shri Ravi Shankar. Such an amazing evening, such an amazing afternoon where all of us are inspired to take this into action, right? What makes a good idea a good idea? When is it effectively implemented? That's what, yeah? So let us all come together and put this idea about I vote for a better India into action and make it into a big idea. Shall we all do it? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So I call upon the action for the NRIs to register to vote. We have actually, out of 1 million NRIs in US, only 11,000 NRIs are registered to vote. And that's what we heard from the Chief Election Commissioner. For us, for NRIs to vote, they have to be registered. So we, as OVBI, have taken up this challenge to register as many NRIs across the country to vote. Yeah? Next, you heard these amazing stories of all these volunteers going door to door. From Guruji, we heard 93% voting in some districts. People are working day and night on the ground for this. I'm just so inspired by the commitment of these people. Let us support this commitment, and take a pledge, donate for this cause. So this initiative can remain sustainable. Yeah? So we all have received the handouts. Along that, there is a donation card, a pledge card. And let us turn this action into really bringing a change for India. Next, very good point. So we have volunteers outside and they have baskets, so you can fill out the forms and make this, and be generous in this, making this donation. So we have people with handouts, as well as they have baskets and pens, so please fill out. Next, I would like to call for action for people who would like to go back to the country for a couple of weeks and just help the VBI team on the ground and spreading the awareness of I Vote for a Better India campaign. For example, if you are from a state like Kerala or Uttar Pradesh, let's all reach out to our family. People who have time for just 2 weeks can go down, and OVBI has created a platform for us to facilitate this process for any individual who would like to go and contribute for the country. And the last, become a change agent. Yeah, we all coming together, create this chain reaction and spread this message of I vote for a better India and bring this change. You just have to simply do this 10-20-10. Reach out to 10 people in US, 20 people in India, ask them to go and vote in next 10 days. Shall we all do this? Yes? Yeah. So we all come together, and this platform has been created for all of you to join hands and make a better India. Thank you. I want to really thank Sarika. She's also a producer of Sony Television. She has her own show, Andaz TV, and she's been fantastic in helping us put this show together. So I really, really thank Sarika.
Thank you. So do we all pledge here to make India a better place? And we're going to call our relatives in India. We're going to donate today on our pledge card. And we're going to make a big difference. I hope you're inspired. But before we wrap up here, I want to give a special thanks to some very important people. And those very important people are all of you for coming here today and being an ambassador to change. Just the fact that you're here makes a big difference, and we're together creating a movement. And of course, our speakers, Naveen Jain, Rajiv Malhotra, and Shri Ravi Shankar. And the entire OVBI team and the volunteers, they deserve a big, huge hand.